put nothing in it right
Sure.
away. We'd have to sit on our hands for a whole nother. What's going on, Nino?
Mr.
Not too
Nino, what
much.
is going on, partner? You seem very distressed.
I woke up this morning and the bench I worked off of in my apartment, the tools wore out. No longer could I make any pots. And what
Wait,
did that
what?
mean? That's right. Not a single thing. I don't even know what the fuck it's used for anymore at this stage. Just a big piece of plywood.
Your bench is no longer usable, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Oof.
So, I made a choice. And I bought a property within 5 minutes.
You mind me inquiring on what property? Because we're in the market too. We've been looking.
It's going to be down in the south side. Now, I think previously we had discussed possibly a joint arrangement, which, quite frankly, would have been, I think, the most ideal. But things were timely, and unfortunately, things. It would have been good to have a conversation. Maybe we could have went in together on something. But my reason for coming up here is after a whole lot of work the last 11 hours, production is back online. And if you need any services done,
My bad.
you can use our utilities.
Hello.
Come again. So what does that mean?
That means if you ever need to stop by and get any work done, if you have any production of yourself that you yourself need to do, my door is open for you.
And what's the catch, Mr. Chavez?
None. I like you.
Oh.
In a platonic way, of course. And I think you've been good to me. A lot of your workers come down to get their repairs done. And, you know, I believe in returning favors. Because, quite frankly, somewhere down the line, there may be some value in this continued friendship. Now, to be clear, I would never ask, hey, remember when you went and made 5 chairs at my house? I need you to kill. I'm not that kind of guy. But I think, you know, it's really that simple, quite frankly.
Mr. Chavez, if I had access to a bench, that could expedite a lot of things for us right now. And I am very much taken aback by your generosity. You know, in order for me to have access, though, I would need a key. Is that something also that you're prepared to help with?
I'm going to have a discussion with one of my roommates. And if it was you and only you who went inside, that can work. Now, I'll be very open about it. As you know, if someone knows someone lives somewhere, that can become a problem. If you at some stage, unless you already have, come across some blueprints that you want to keep close to your chest, the last thing you want is someone trying to break inside just to grab them.
Of course. I'm still a bit taken aback, brother. You really impressed me the first day you came over here. I sensed that you were very sincere and you stretched out your hand. We made some offers and they seemed very agreeable to me. A day or two passed, you came back and said that offer unfortunately was no longer possible. And that too left a really good impression on me because I think you came about it the right way. You came correct. which means a lot. Now, this is the third time you've come here. And now, no less than the other times, you leave me with a striking impression that really does honor to you. To come and offer me a table at which I'd have access to is a pretty damn good thing for me. Even if tomorrow I have my own table, just the offer there says a lot. However, I would feel indebted to your generosity. There must be something you in return could need, or there's something that maybe I can focus on and do to in turn match the difference, if you take my meaning.
Absolutely. I guess, when the time comes for the business proposal, I think it'd be good for the chamber, for the mayor to hear what kind of shop, what kind of business. I think words alone, spreading word of my business, I think would be enough. Now, I also know that, I'd have to think on that, and I would ask, and would not expect you to say yes to anything that did come down the line. I'm a strong believer that connections are more valuable than anything else. And there are going to be stages where we're going to need each other. And I think for me, this is a way of showing, like, this is how I do business. So if somewhere down the line there may have been hesitation, like, hey, is this something I could do with this guy? Do I know him? How does he operate? Well, I'd rather show it face to face, So,
So let me just reiterate one more time. You came up here to offer access to a bench with no strings attached.
I know how hard it is for me to run my mechanic shop. I had to go into debt $30,000 this morning to pick this up, and I still need about another $100,000 in order to operate. And as saying so, I understand that you are very likely going to be in a similar position. So if you can get the get-go for yourself going, this is like a small business helping another small business. You know what I'm saying? But,
Again, you left me speechless, Mr. Chavez. I think I would have to be a fool to say no to, such a generous offer. I'd like to accept it in the spirit in which it was given. If your partners approve, I think I could find use for that bench within the coming days, specifically Lumberjack and lumber related projects.
okay.
There are certain floorings, frames, etc., currently that a few contractors have come to us trying to figure out if we can supply that. They are offered currently at Utual, but I have a strong hunch that we may be able to supply that for a lot cheaper. And I don't have the ability to test this out yet without that bench. So that is the first thing that I would love to see. Just to give you an idea of the type of stuff I would kind of be using it for. That is, of course, if your partners and your contacts agree. And if they don't, there is not one bit of hard feeling. I want you to know that.
I appreciate that. The key, my original plan was to help you manufacture it without a key. There are other options possibly where I let you in, you do what you need, and then you take what you have and pack it away. But let me see let me see what they say. Too many people going in and out the same house can be dangerous for all of us.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. That's what they
is
call it.
Is it in the cul-de-sac, Mr. Chavez?
It is one street over.
Okay. Are you familiar with the residents of the cul-de-sac?
I am very, yes. I'm very,
Okay,
it's why I purchased property down there.
So, my question, I guess, is good terms or bad terms with those residents?
Very good terms.
Okay, that is very, very good news to hear. We have been helping them, supplying them with some materials, so that is very good.
They're good people. They're smart businessmen, and women. Obviously, there may be others that may end up moving down there that could cause issues, and those are the ones that I'm most concerned with, right? The rubberneckers.
Do you have someone specific in mind?
No, but how do I put this in the best way?
Put it in a bad way.
In
We
a
don't
bad
mind.
way. The
Sure.
city is full of folks that like to explore, and all it takes is someone jokingly want to run into a house and see what's going on before you have a chance to close the door. And while you might be able to stab them if they see too much or they look too close, all of a sudden that word gets around, and next thing you know, people want to target the house because they think there might be a blueprint sitting there worth hundreds of thousands. Well, perhaps in this economy, tens of thousands.
Tell me this, Mr. Nino. If I have a blueprint and I take it to a bench, am I to pin the blueprint onto the bench? Is it something that remains in my pocket? Do I have to set it down?
You would be.
I know these may sound kind of silly, but I don't know.
Would you like to take a drive over and take a look yourself?
I would love that.
All right. All right.
Do you mind if Devon doesn't have to come inside, but do you
He
mind
can
if
come.
he... Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, if anything ever happens, good or bad, this man is gonna be there having my back. And there's nothing he knows that I don't know, and vice versa. And if ever I'm not here, Nino, you can contact Devon, okay? I want you to know that.
Perfect.
Let's take a ride. We'll follow you.
We can go. We'll go together.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
How about we go with your car? This one is a bit embarrassing. I need to bring it for a repair.
No worries. Yeah, unfortunately, as it currently stands, you got to leave it in the thing so anyone can swoop in, and we're doing a little bit of testing right now to see if we can close out the doors.
You know, Nino, the other day, some contractors came by. And it was really interesting because this contractor contacted us about a week ago talking about needing a big shipment of timber. I'm talking 1,000 planks. Well, they never set a date. They just, dangled that carrot in front of us. But they casually would ask about blueprints. Now, some time passed, they contacted us again, but in between that time, we had a chat with you. And you told us, if you get those blueprints, you hold on to them. Do not let them go for any amount. Don't spread them around. Don't slang them across. Just hold on to them.
They are your
What is-
prized possession.
Yeah.
Every other business in this city has been ransacked.
So,
I want to tell Nino about that as well, because even Jack will tell you after you said that it put the biggest smile on my face, because I've been thinking about that shit with blueprints, and ever since Axel's been, it's been harder to get a good bond with him.
sorry, I was putting my SIM card back. I there's orders coming through.
Ever since it's been hard to get a good bond with Axel, people come, they'll they'll say fuck this shit, and then they'll just come to us instead, So if we would have just sell those blueprints, man, if we did it before, nobody would fuck with us right now. They wouldn't be talking to us at all.
Oh, you're
But now
not
they-
wrong.
Now they know that we got these blueprints, and nobody else want to put in the work. They're like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And yeah, this one person was coming up here, and they kept talking about, oh, I need an order of this and order of that. Never gave any specific amount of what, but would always mention a blueprint. And I told him, I said, look, man, I'm putting in the work. I can make that shit for you because I put in the work here. You don't. So I'm not just going to give you something and all of a sudden you just fucking know exactly what I do. It makes no sense.
And that's the name of the game, unfortunately. I mean, look, I came into this city and wanted to become a tow man. obviously I had some problems along the way. And what ended up happening is the first one across that finish line sold the blueprint. Second one sold the blueprint. Third one, same thing. And, you know, it leaves me asking myself the question, why? Why would you put your entire, like, effectively, like, life's work into someone else's hand for a measly, like, short-term profit? It's just unreasonable.
You know, so this lady comes back again the day that the blueprints, like Devon was saying, like when Axel started passing them out to people who earned their promotions in the company. Again, hinting at a big sale, but constantly dangling that carrot. But because we had that conversation with you, I explained to her that, look, we're not giving that blueprint. We're just not doing it. She can go buy it for somewhere else for cheaper, but that is not a practice that we're gonna support. Now, I mentioned to you the other day about a blueprint, about a committee. And that's what I wanted this committee to discuss. If somebody has a facility and installs a fucking bench, it doesn't make sense to me that overnight they turn into Albert Einstein. They can craft fucking car parts. They can build tables. Next thing you know, they're building rocket ships to space. Let the lumberjacks handle the lumber. Let the mechanics handle the mechanics. Let the fucking, I don't know, the cats handle the cat business. And now I ran that by the sanitation department. I ran that by Chip. I ran it by you. And everybody seems to be in unison. I think that an example needs to be made and set that we as business owners, as people operating unions, are supporting a specific type of business model.
I agree 1,000%.
If some Muppet has not spent one day repairing cars, he got no business fucking crafting, car parts in his basement just because some Muppet slipped a blueprint up his ass.
That's actually been the thing that's been killing the automotive industry. Now, I think that it's very good that now the houses kind of slow it down, because I was talking to he's a good guy, but he let me in on something, is that he's just been repairing his tow truck, right, on the side of the road when it he hits it too much. Well, it's a repair kit. He's not doing any wild shit, right?
Yeah, okay.
And Rusty likes him 30 out of 100 on his performance rating just from that. And keep in mind, just from doing that, Rusty's just printing out I have 8 stacks of blueprints. 8 like full 10 blueprint sets. I throw them away, I got no room. So you got on, like, with automotive, the industry's fucked right now because everyone and the mother has been making parts inside their apartments, and they ain't got no business, like you said. And because they got like a little bit of good luck with Rusty from just the repair kits, they're fixing shit themselves. That's how there's 10 mechanic shops, because most of them haven't spent any time like really repairing things. They're out going doing sanitation and going to their house and just making the things, and then, you know what I mean, there's no like you said, there's no loop.
Now it makes sense. Somebody was telling me that they helped 2 friends that was stuck on the side. They was doing group 6. They was gifted, a whole tool set, so that way they could do some repairs. And he said when he went to go do that, group 6 got pissed off. And I was like, yeah, man, I told him, you need to call either a certified mechanic or a tow truck driver. You can't just be doing shit, thinking that you're doing right.
Yep.
It's not it. It's not the move, man. People need to talk to people. They nervous to fucking expand their network. It ain't cool, man.
Yep.
Now imagine that this roundtable has a lot of prominent business owners who might even be in competition with each other, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion.
I agree.
Then we get word that Joe Schmo is doing bad business practice, doing what we mentioned is not correct, and they get blackballed. You have 5-6 collective businesses with their entire network refuse to do business with that person going forward. Now that could be a means of incentivizing people to go through the proper channels without ever having to lift a wrench or a hammer to somebody's fucking face.
I agree with that entirely. I think
So that is something that I would like to put into motion. Like I said, people have given a thumbs up. They are excited about it. You, Lang, Vinny, Chip.
want to make a call just real quick.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, what's the word?
Hey, I got a guest coming over.
All right, I'll be off front.
All right. You may or may not see one of my business partners.
Okay.
Depending on if he chooses to show himself.
Now, the person who gets into office, this man can help legitimize a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. You know, I had an idea that's been floating through my head of making certain IDs where the rep, where our reputation and our grade within our respective companies is listed, and anyone below a certain threshold, you know, people refuse to do business with. Might be a little
I like
extreme,
that.
but that's what we're gonna do with the lumberyard.
I would have always liked and feel free to disagree with this because this I think is a little out of the box. I think temp working at, like, if I came down and did some lumber, right? I should be able to do some lumber without pissing anyone off. But there should be zero benefits coming from it. I'd be coming in as temp work, you know, you say, hey, you know, cut some lumber for me. I'm never going to get beyond, like, doing the basic shit. My best option is ultimately, I don't know why I'm driving this way, is to sell to you. In the same way, if, I don't know, maybe this is a little extreme. Temp work is good, but none of these temp workers should ever be getting some of the benefits that you see in, like, the mechanic guys get. Or they spend 2 minutes behind a fucking wrench and all of a sudden they're, you know, retooling an entire fucking engine. All right.
I like it. That don't sound extreme at all. When you said extreme, I thought you were gonna say beating somebody over the head.
Oh, well, that's always an option as well.
You don't strike me as the type of person to, you know, do that sort of thing.
No, I tend not to get my hands dirty myself.
May we come in?
Absolutely. Watch your step.
Oof, this is nice.
Go ahead and take a look at what's under the table here. You'll notice I've got a stack of pots. You also notice a series of blueprints, 10 of which are needed for each of the pots that's sitting on in that little storage container, and then a series of the materials that I use. Feel free and try.
May I look at one of the blueprints?
Absolutely. Go ahead and try to grab one.
So I can craft
Go
using
ahead.
the directions of whatever blueprint is in my pocket.
Please.
I
Have
have
at it.
something for you, by the way. Tell me, would this be of use to you? I came across this the other day. They're yours. Not from here. I got them elsewhere.
Oh no. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, these are just as you have so many, I think most of us long-term mechanics have quite a bit ourselves.
Okay, I just figured it might be of use to you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the thought.
Devon, take a look at that.
I mean, I got a good gander from over here. This is, yeah. What somebody's told me a lot about this shit, and to see it right here is it's all adding up. So
It's about $30,000 after tax. One thing that would be very helpful to me, and I want you to think on this, is allowing me to borrow $50,000 for 2 weeks would be very helpful to allow me to expand my operation. But I want you to think on that. I figured I'd ask.
$50,000 payable in 2 weeks.
Correct.
If I say no, I can't do that.
It changes nothing. Only if it's something that you can easily do. And I don't want an answer today.
No, I'll be frank with you. We are looking to make a big purchase very, very soon.
Then I think it's best that you do that.
If there is capital left over, I want you to know that I will discuss it with my crew because that money is raised collectively. And if they give the nod, I have no problem with helping you out. If 50,000 is undoable, maybe a percentage of that sum could make a little more sense.
Absolutely. Last thing like I said, I've treaded a lot of these waters, and to me, passing on this knowledge is to you specifically, you and your crew, I think, makes me happy. So you don't have to go through similar trials and tribulations, especially when people do come a knocking, because they will at some stage.
Have you looked in at all to messing with circuit boards and motherboards and GPUs?
That's the thing I'm gonna be whispering here. These walls of everything. It's the next thing I'm gonna be doing.
Now, I imagine that's what the investment would be for.
It would get the operation going, the creation of those.
I think now we're thinking a similar wavelength. If you had the infrastructure for that, that may be something that we could
Work
help
together
with.
on.
Absolutely.
You have the wood. I have the circuits.
How much wood is needed for that project?
The project has a startup cost of, I believe, $20,000, and then I would know.
Can I float an idea on your head?
Absolutely.
Is it possible to install more than one bench in a property?
I do not believe so.
So we can't get this place looking like a sweatshop?
That was my original plan. I believe you can get one of these and one of the small ones, but the small ones are
Interesting.
now useless.
So
But
the closest thing to a sweatshop
these
would
move
have several.
very quick.
When you talk about building a circuit board, is that a table? Is that the computer, or specifically the parts inside the computer?
There's multiple parts. There is the table. There's the CPU, the GPU, and I believe one other thing. And in saying so, I already am sitting on about 3,000 circuit boards.
How much wood do you need for this type of project?
I would need the blueprints first. That's the thing
And
I'm
the-
trying to get next.
What is the specific blueprint that you need?
It's 3 to 4 separate blueprints. Total cost is 20 grand.
And so the investment that we would make would help towards that.
1,000%.
Do you know if anybody else is already working on this project separate from yourself?
There are perhaps 2 to 3 others. But I've got some of the best salespeople.
We need to. I have a very, very, very important meeting I gotta get to, Nino. Can we talk about this again in a little bit more
Absolutely.
specifics?
Absolutely.
I will, by the end of tonight, and most assuredly tomorrow morning, know exactly how much excess capital me and my partner here will have to work with, and that
Okay.
and us investing in you, which to me is a lot better than investing in just say some project, is definitely something that is on the table for us 100%.
Okay. And I see where you're going with this. I think something like this, I could definitely see an option in which the profit sharing would be very reasonable, since you would be providing the wood and I'd be providing the rest. And like I said, this is one step, and who knows what our future holds.
Mr. Nino, we have been working diligently the last several days. We have moved, no exaggeration, 20 truckloads of timber. The city is moving. What they're using it for, what they're doing with it, I'm not sure. But
It's
if you know
probably
what
this.
if you know what to do and you have a means of doing it, and if there's a way that me and my partners here can reap the benefits more than just selling per plank, every single one of those trucks, 20, 30, an entire union eager to work, they're just waiting for orders. We could streamline that directly to you and your contacts if the deal makes sense for me and mine.
Of
Because
course.
there's a lot of mouths for us to feed.
And everyone needs to eat. Always. Okay.
Let me and my partner do some thinking. Let me know about this house. I have some lumber projects, certain uses to this bench that could really, really help me out a lot, if only just to see what things are gonna cost me and what I can offer others.
Okay.
There-
Let me
there
talk
is
to my
someone-
partner, and I'll know in the next hour.
There is someone in the other cul-de-sac who you apparently are close with that I want to potentially help. She's a contractor, and there's a certain blueprint where I would like to see the cost of things here, because it may propel her ahead of her competition.
Carmela.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right on the nose.
You see, there was another contractor that came fishing for blueprints, and that really, really, really put me off. And they were trying to speed run their progress with Axel in order to have access. We have decided that we're gonna cut that person out entirely, and whatever we were gonna offer her, we would rather offer an even better deal to Carmela, because those guys over there
100%.
do things the right way.
Mm,
And that's what we want to support, even if it's at less of a profit, if that makes sense.
I absolutely does.
Okay, Mr. Nino, we will let's get out of here and let me know what you guys decide.
Okay.